Okay, I'm ready for questions.
Yeah, first of all, we'll start off with
Rab
Conservation
questions.
Advisory Board member questions. Or comments, either to the Navy or to the regulators.
Well, then I'll go ahead. You talked about a database. Will that database be available to others in the future? Should the sampling need to be revisited for cleanup?
Okay,
That's your NI, whatever.
Right.
NIRIS.
so Mr. Clark would be the best to,
Ah.
as a lead project manager, one of his many duties is, he interfaces with the NIRIS database the most and knows the most about it.
So the Navy will always maintain that database, so we'll always have it and add to it. It's the official thing from now on, you know, until we come up with a new database. But that, the goal is for now into perpetuity to maintain it.
When you do horizontal drilling, you're not actually drilling horizontally, you're drilling at an angle. At what depth do you actually hit under the foundation? You can't be hitting at 0.5 feet.
Right, we targeted about 4 feet below ground surface. It actually does go in at an angle, but the further you go, the more it flattens out, and they could even bring it up. No, we didn't do that. We went in to about 2-3 feet, flattened out to try and get a sample right at 4 feet.
Right. So instead of going vertical, you're right, it's not purely horizontal. You go in basically at an angle, but then you have options of either going flat out, which I think you did, or
Yep.
even going up.
They prefer to not go up, but yes, and they can go, I mean, this application is used for petroleum geology most, and they can swerve all over the place under the ground surface. It's really quite a unique technology.
Okay. Then you talked about soil samples for, God, now, this is part of the problem with not being able to ask questions during the presentation. I was curious to know if the soil samples were mixed prior to characterization or
Characterization for
chemical
so
solutions. Did you, sometimes you mix the whole
Composite?
soil- Yeah, sometimes you do a composite and sometimes you do a spot.
these are all point actual locations, so from 1 to 1.5 or 2 to 3, that sort of thing. Yeah, they're not composite samples.
Yeah, so they're all point-specific data samples at different depth intervals.
Right.
No composites.
Okay.
Good question.
So when you're talking about soil removal in various places, the feasibility study addendum
Correct.
talks about capping versus removal. What you're saying is you have essentially abdicated that those two options. You're going to just remove all of those sites, so all those little red dots go away?
Right, so the feasibility study is playing into the long-term remedial action. So if we do this removal action, which we're planning on doing, that will feed right into that process. So if as in the feasibility study, we will likely select removal.
Keith, you don't have a picture of all the dots. It looks
Well,
kind of
no.
like measles.
Okay.
But, so
So it's
when
about
we,
13 different locations, actually.
so what she's talking about is the FS will select an alternative or a preferred alternative, and we'll
Yes.
do a proposed plan, and in all likelihood, we'll select excavation as the preferred alternative. And so by doing this as a removal action, we'll have already been one step ahead of ourselves.
Okay.
So then we get time for the rod, we'll say removal action, and we're doing it.
Okay.
Or we'll say excavation, and we did it as a removal action, is what I meant to say.